A new hockey season is upon us. It looks like a regular hockey season is upon us with 82 games and fans. And like all hockey fans, Sens fans are wondering, is this our year? I've got expert Craig Button with me. BarDown's Raegan is standing by for some thoughts on the upcoming Sens season. Craig, I'll start with this one because you're a former NHL GM, and it was a current GM that made a statement that kind of shook the hockey world when he said it. Pierre Dorion said the rebuild is done. What are your thoughts on that statement? How much truth is there to it?
Well, wouldn't it be so easy, Julia, if you could just snap your fingers and say, the rebuild's done? Okay, so we can get into semantics. The building isn't done. So maybe they can start to say that the rebuild isn't done. I don't know what it means. This is a young team. This is a team that is not capable of competing at a championship level. They're trying to get close to competing for a playoff spot. And they're not going to make the playoffs this year, in my view. And when you look at what they've done, they got an excellent prospect pool. They got young players already in their lineup. You look at what happened last year with Josh Norris, with Drake Batherson, the promise of Alex Formenton, the hope for Eric Brandstrom. But the bottom line is, this is still a team that is developing. And as you develop, you don't just get to say, hey, it's over. Because it's never over. You're always trying to build your team for ultimate success. And the Ottawa Senators are not close to ultimate success. Well coached by DJ Smith, really good young players, but this is not a contending team. And quite frankly, while the future is promising, the present is exactly what it is. A team hoping to play some meaningful games near the trade deadline into March, hopefully into April, won't result in the playoffs.
You mentioned that this is a younger team. How much emphasis is there upon having leadership and maybe even naming a captain this year for the Sens?
What you have to ask yourself is, who are some of the players with experience that could lend that ear, that could lend that voice to what they're going through? And I think that's something that is significant. And, you know, we can look at players that have the capability to be the captain. Brady Tkachuk clearly comes to mind. Thomas Chabot comes to mind. But, you know, who else can help them become the best leaders and the best captains if they become that to achieve that? And I think that's where the Senators have big questions. I'd love to tell you it's this player or that player. Right now, I'm not sure they have that older player, that experienced player with that voice that can help.
So Norris and Batherson are without a roommate right now. Brady Tkachuk still hasn't signed a deal. Does that have an effect on how the team is playing right now, do you think? And do you think it'll affect the team going into the season depending on when he signs?
Well, what I would say, Julia, and the absence of a Brady Tkachuk in your lineup is going to affect your team. There's no question about it. You can't take players that have that level of impact and remove them from your team and expect to have the same level of success. I mean, I think that's a given. I'm not saying anything that anybody else would say. But for the players, you know, they're sitting there. This is their friend. This is their teammate. They're wondering what's happening. They're talking to Brady Tkachuk. Anything close? Are you going to be here anytime soon? So there's a specter of uncertainty surrounding the team that no manager, no coach wants to have to deal with. You know, you can look at Brady's situation. His older brother, Matthew, went through something similar before signing a 3-year deal. I think we just see that Elias Pettersson signs a 3-year deal. Kaprizov signs a 5-year deal. So when I look at it, all the parameters are in place that you could use as an example to sign Brady Tkachuk, whether you're the team and management or whether you're Brady Tkachuk and his representatives. But the specter of uncertainty surrounding Brady Tkachuk's absence will be there until he's no longer absent. And that's something that they're all going to have to deal with. And one thing I would say, Julia, don't let anybody say, oh, yeah, we're just going to carry on. Carrying on without a significant personality and player in Brady Tkachuk is significant in and of itself.
Yeah, pretty hard to carry on without one of your best players, one of your biggest leaders on the ice. Craig, thank you so much for your expert analysis. Now we'll see what Raegan has to say.
Okay, Jules, be honest. Do you actually have faith in Matt Murray after last season?
Okay, first of all, we can't hate on my hometown's finest, Matt Murray. I had his French textbook in high school, and it was kind of a career highlight for me. Matt Murray had a tough last season, I'm sure he'd admit that, but it ended off really strong. In the final stretch of the season, he went 3-1-0, posted 2 shutouts. Then he came back from summer break. He's put on 10 pounds. He's looked really good in the preseason so far. I was listening to the broadcast and Noodles was really emphasizing the fact that he looks dialed in. I don't think greatness goes away. Stanley Cups don't just go away. He's looked good in the preseason. A lot of the Sens' success this year is riding upon Matt Murray having a bounce back year. Signs are pointing towards the fact that he will. We'll see if he actually pulls it off.
Okay, but do you actually think the Sens are a playoff team this year?
Listen, Regs, the Atlantic Division is a really tough division. There's going to be some fully developed, fully arrived teams in this division that don't end up making the playoffs because it's such a packed division. But with that being said, I think the Sens could make a lot of improvements this year, and it could be counted as a success either way. If guys like Batherson, Brandstrom, Gustafsson, Pinto, Formenton, we're talking about all these guys, Mete, if they can take the next step this season, I think it'll be really positive for the Sens' future. And I think we could chalk that up as a win.